Hello, everybody, and welcome back to HavoKast. As you all know, this is a place where we rank and discuss some of our favorite things. It could be anything. I am open to any and all suggestions. I love doing music, movies, TV, food, whatever the case may be. But no matter what, it's always going to be completely opinionated. There's no facts behind any of this stuff. It's always just like, hey, I love this thing. Maybe you do too, and if you don't, that's fine. I have no problem with that. As you can see here, we're doing fast food today. I just found this tier list thing, and I was like, hey, let's do this. It'll be kind of fun. I mean, this is kind of casual restaurants and fast food. I'm sure it doesn't have everything on it, but, it's the biggest list I could find honestly, short amount of time I looked, but I'll just be kind of talking about these things and going through them. For me, fast food has been something that has kind of been tied to nostalgia, memories on, family vacations, road trips, things like that. It's been more or less designed to give people a quick and easy, cheap way of getting food if they're running late from working, haven't had time to cook, or, you're on a road trip and there's no really way of doing anything. You don't have the time or money to sit down at a restaurant, just go through a drive-through real quick, whatever. There are some good options out there, but, for the most part, it's not great for you, of course. But now it's kind of turned into like, people live on fast food now, and it's strange, I'm definitely one of those people that have gone through just, phases of like, oh, it's all I eat, and then I only cook at home, and then I only eat out, it's so. I've had a lot of time to experience a lot of these places. Some of these I don't actually recognize. Some of them I do recognize, but I have not had a chance to, figure out if I like them or not. But anyway, we'll get into it, and I'm sure there's going to be discussions and differences of opinion here, and that's fine. I mean, honestly, if there's something you enjoy at a place or something that you like more, this is just a fun background noise kind of thing, honestly. But I have these categories set up at like excellent. My criteria is, top of the line might be better tasting stuff or better ingredients or, more budget friendly, but more so just kind of all around great in most categories that I'm looking for. Variety on the menu. That's another big thing. If I'm riding with, my family and we're going on a road trip, if we go just get, a stack of burgers somewhere, will that be as good as a place I could go get, a taco, a burger, some chicken strips? Like, variety is interesting at these fast food places. I think that's what makes them, better off than not. But at the same time, it kind of opens you up to be, a jack of all trades and a master of none. So some of these restaurants are definitely that too. But yeah, so, top category, it hits most marks. It's not too expensive. It's very good tasting. There might be some variety on there, or it just does something so good you can't ignore it. Well-rounded is kind of that same thing where like it hits all the boxes, it hits all the marks, but it doesn't necessarily do anything incredibly. It just does a really good job on everything. Now, this could also be, it does really well in a few categories, but might not do well in another category. And, it's just not at that excellent level. The next one is pretty good. It's in the middle. Like, this is just some food you'll pick up if you have to. Maybe it's the only thing available, but it's not, you're not mad about it, Oh, yeah, I'll eat, a taco from this place. That's fine. It's not my first choice, but it's, it's not my last choice either. Not great. Pretty self-explanatory. It's like, for me, it's just not something that I necessarily need to ever eat. But if I have to, maybe there's something on that menu that I'm like, boy, I do just kind of want this real quick. And then I'm cured of it. I don't need it for a while. I'm good. Not for me. It's just something I just don't enjoy. Simply put, it's just something that doesn't really offer either better value, because even if it's something that doesn't taste great, if it's, $1.50, $2 to get, a sandwich or something, like, sure, just fill me up and let me make it to my next meal, whatever, who cares? But, in this day and age, the dollar menu is all about dead. So, there's probably a few in this category that I could think of off the top of my head. We'll get to them. We'll go through them in order. I think they're in alphabetical order, actually, so that might make it easier. And then never had, self-explanatory again. It's just something I just haven't had. I could talk about it a little bit because I know some of the restaurants, even though I haven't been there, but still just, like I said, this is supposed to be just really fun, stupid, whatever, I'll have it on a playlist of maybe random tier lists or whatever. But yeah, I felt like doing something different, something silly. And then we'll probably, next time I pull something out, it might be like a Metallica video or something again. I do want to do a Megadeth album ranking also, but, that's neither here nor there. We'll see what happens. Anyway, yeah, thank you for being here. And let's get into this. Again, please feel free to comment anything about this list or any ideas you have, or if you want to ever go to the live streams, you can hit that link tree and, I stream very often, so we can always talk about any of this stuff in the live stream too. I love talking about music on stream. It's my favorite thing to talk about for the most part, but let's get into it right off the bat. A&W, I'm just going to put in the never had category. A&W is a place that I know is very polarizing. People either love it or they hate it. I've encountered a few stores that have closed down, but I've never been able to actually eat at one. And that makes me kind of wonder, if they're closing down, maybe it's not the best, but at the same time, maybe it's just not well known enough. I don't know. Either way, it's a historic kind of franchise. It's kind of that last of the, those road trip kind of old school, fast food restaurants, those malt shop kind of things, you know what I mean? It's got that kind of vibe to it, but like I say, never had it, so it is what it is. Arby's, I'm going to put it in not great. I don't think it's completely horrible, but I also have no desire to ever go there. If it's the only thing around, sure, I'll go in there, I'll get something, I hate their marketing campaigns. I think they're just so pointless and stupid. I mean, you remember them, of course, but, you don't know why you remember them other than it's just that is what it is. But, yeah, not a huge fan of this restaurant. I think a lot of other places just do it better. And, like I said, just no desire to ever go there. There's people that love Arby's, but there's also people that really hate it. To me, I'm just kind of indifferent, It is what it is. Baja Fresh. I thought it was pretty well-rounded. I like Baja Fresh a lot. I think they had a lot of good options. I think they had a lot of good things there. What I liked is their salsa bar more than anything. And a lot of times for me, the condiments really make stuff. I mean, you can have a beef patty. You can have, some grilled chicken, seasoned chicken, whatever. But everything that goes with it kind of, it doesn't steal the show, but it enhances the star of the show. You want those supporting cast members to be really stand out. Kind of like the movie Twister, right? I mean, the movie Twisters just came out or whatever, but originally Twister, the supporting cast was really great in that movie, and it almost made the whole movie better because of them. So Baja Fresh is kind of like that, where that supporting cast, the salsa bar, it's so good, it's so diverse, and I like the options they give you too. I mean, this used to be a place I didn't even want to go back in the day. But then I went there and I'm like, oh God, now how could I, where else is there that's going to be like this, as fast, as cheap, I'm sure it's more expensive now, but they just do a really good job. And I don't know. I like it. I like Baja Fresh a lot. Blimpie, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's sub place. What can you say about a sub place? I mean, there's obviously criteria that set them apart. I think it's pretty just, I think it's a step above some, a step below some in some categories. I think it's, moderately priced. I don't think there's any gimmicks to it, really. I think it's just a sub place. I encountered these a lot more at the beach than anywhere in a city or anything like that. So we would, vacation and travel, and then we would come across this while we were at a beach or, something like that. So it's kind of got those memories, those nostalgic tie-ins with road trips. But, other than that, I think it's just, it's all right. I'd eat there over Arby's, The other thing that I find kind of interesting is I would probably eat at a sub place more than a lot of other places because I have to be in the mood for tacos or burritos. I have to be in the mood for, barbecue. I have to be in the mood for pizza. But like a sandwich, it's, you're just eating to eat, essentially. So that kind of factors into it too. Bojangles, I have never actually had the pleasure of going, but I know it's awesome. Like, I've heard nothing but great things about it. Y'all tell me about it. Like, if you guys want to just throw down some of your favorite things from there in comments, feel free. But yeah, I just never had the pleasure of going there yet. I'm going to take like a South Road trip and then hit that place up because I definitely want to at some point. Boston Market, fun fact, I actually won a contest there when I was younger. I think it's very well rounded. I think for what you're getting, the price is pretty good too. I mean, it's more expensive than a lot of these other options, but I mean, really not that much more expensive. It's not outrageous for like essentially what it feels like is kind of a home cooked meal, but on the go. It's not quite there, of course, but I mean, if your family can't cook, then it's probably way better than anything. But they had some very good sides. I think, the chicken, the main courses, whatever, good, but man, the sides I actually really enjoyed. And there was this like cream spinach thing, and I mean, it's cream spinach. How excited could you get about cream spinach? But I really liked it. I don't know. When I was younger and I just could not stop thinking about it ever. Just one of those weird things. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm going to just say well-rounded. I think it's good for the value, what you get, the ease of it. And, I don't feel as guilty having a Boston Market meal as I do about like some of these other things. I know the calories value in this is usually like way all skewed, but I also look at like what the food is versus, like obviously if I'm eating a Whopper, it's probably less calories than, a meal from Boston Market. But I think a meal is so well-rounded from Boston Market versus a freaking Whopper that, you're going to probably have a better time after this than that, But anyway, we're going to go on to Burger King. I am going to put this at pretty good. And I'm going to be real here. A lot of people give Burger King a bad name. I don't know why. I think there's just people that like other restaurants. I don't really ever gravitate towards Burger King. I have no reason to ever go there anymore. But that being said, all of the times I've been there, I've enjoyed what I've gotten, whether it's chicken or, a burger. The like nuggets and fries are decent. I've never had a problem there. I used to go there a few years ago, like right after high school. I guess it was like 10 years ago now or whenever it was. But yeah, we used to go there all the time after concerts or whatever. And it was just great. It was fine, nothing wrong with it. But yeah, I don't think there's really any problem with it. There were a couple of things that they brought out. I mean, every fast food restaurant's done this where they bring out something and it's just a disaster. I will never forget. It was like a ham and cheese sandwich, and I think they called it the Yumbo, if you all remember that. What a stupid name, the Yumbo. It was a cool marketing campaign because it was like the 70s kind of like, just a bunch of different shades of brown advertisements and stuff. And I like that kind of stuff. But I'm like, dude, it's a ham and cheese sandwich from Burger King. You don't have a deli slicer back there, Like the flame broil stuff, sure. But, what are we talking about here? I also thought it was weird they had a long chicken sandwich. Their chicken sandwich is like long. I don't know what that is. I have no idea, but I've just always been like, can I get one of those long chicken sandwiches? And they know what I'm talking about, but like, what is that? That's so weird. But again, value, it doesn't cost more than any of these other places, but you get more food. So I don't know. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. Cane's is a very divisive one now. Now, Raising Cane's, I've eaten this so much. And if I told you like why, I would say because it was there. Because where I worked, I got a discount and it was there. I didn't work at Cane's, but I worked, there enough where, like, in that area, I could eat enough to get a discount or whatever. But anyway, people love the sauce. The sauce is good. But, it's sauce. To me, chicken has always been almost like a spoon for sauces, Whether you're eating wings or strips or nuggets or whatever, you use that as a utensil to taste sauces on chicken. The chicken's usually never the star of the show unless you're actually like, spicing it up, frying it, doing some like, fancy things with it. Maybe it's a rotisserie chicken. I love a rotisserie chicken. Peruvian rotisserie chicken's incredible. And they don't have that out here, which drives me crazy. But Cane's, it's just, it's a fried chicken strip. Well, it's a chicken tender, and there's a difference. So the chicken tender is like the tender meat of the chicken. The chicken strip is just white meat, and then a chicken finger is just, basically a long chicken nugget, just a mash of whatever they could find. I didn't realize there was a difference between those three, but apparently there is. Cane's is chicken strips, so the quality of the meat is supposed to be better, and it is. But there's zero flavor on it. It is just bland, unseasoned chicken. It's designed just to taste the sauce, and the sauce is good. I like the fries if they're warm and salty. They're not always warm and salty. I like the coleslaw and the toast. I think they're both great. And that's all they serve. So in my mind, there's not a diverse menu. It's not a great value because, if I got a few chicken strips, and a couple sides, it's like $15 practically. So I don't know. I mean, if you have to go there at the right time, or there's going to be a line wrapped around the place, so it doesn't even turn into fast food unless you go there at the right time. I'm going to put it at not great, and I've eaten this hundreds and hundreds of times, but I don't work at the place I did anymore, and I have no desire to go back there now. I think there's better chicken places. I think, every now and then I'll get a craving for Cane's, and I'll get it. I'll eat my sides. I'll eat some of the chicken. And if the fries are warm and crispy and, everything, which they hardly ever are, I'll eat those and be like, yeah, it was good. But, another 365 days before I crave that again. So I'm going to just put it at not great. I don't think there's a whole lot appealing about it. Carl's Jr. is interesting now. We have that coming up next. It's also Hardee's. So Hardee's and Carl's Jr., I believe, are the same restaurants. I don't have a problem with this one. I haven't had a ton of experience eating a whole bunch of different things here, but I do like a lot of the stuff on the menu. I think it's a diverse menu too. I'm going to put it in pretty good. I think there's some cool things they do there. Something that was told to me a while ago, and this is a few of these restaurants, is like, it's a burger. Like, all they're doing is putting different things on a burger and calling it something different, It's like, yeah, but it's a different flavor you're going to get. If you put jalapenos on a burger, you have a hotter, more flavorful burger. If you put different kinds of cheese and bacon and, onions or whatever else on it, then you're going to have that. If you're going to, there's just different things you can do with it, different sauces, sriracha, whatever. I like that they change up the kinds of food you can get there. I like that, everything's just okay. There's nothing great there. I think it's all pretty good, but I think the well-roundedness, it's still fast food. It's, it's got its value, kind of. It's a little expensive, but I like it. Nothing wrong with it. It's serviceable. Their breakfast is kind of slept on too, actually. If you get a good restaurant that is making it really fresh and everything like that breakfast kind of lit there. Checkers and Rallies are the same restaurant as well. Checkers is kind of along the same line as Carl's Jr. I think it's a little, I don't know. I think it's a little out of the way. So I didn't really have an opportunity to ever go grab this often. I remember at lunchtime at one of my places I worked a while ago, we would always get lunch out in the off season because it was a cooking place. So half the year we're cooking our own meals and half the year we're eating out essentially. But God, that was also when things were a lot cheaper. There was no Checkers anywhere near. So if we went to go get it, it was going to take a while and we'd have to send somebody early. It was always good when we got it, but I just don't, I don't know. If you're lucky enough to have one around, it's good, but I also think that there's just better options all around. I think there's just better things. Like I say, it's kind of the same as the Carl's Jr. Like, they have some different things on there, but for the most part, it sticks to the script. It just does what it does pretty well. And I can't remember if this is the place that has like salt and vinegar that you can put on the fries. Now that, I like that a lot. And I think that's one of those places that does that. It's really good. I really do enjoy that. Chick-fil-A. I'm going to put it at excellent. Everything about it is great. It tastes good. The sides are incredible. Milkshakes, of course, the mac and cheese, everything's good there. I love the waffle fry. It's the only waffle fry I've really liked. Now, it's expensive, but you do get what you pay for. I don't think it's outrageously expensive for the value, especially because it almost feels like places like Burger King, McDonald's, certainly Cane's have all been kind of catching up to Chick-fil-A. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but Chick-fil-A kind of started their workers being paid more than a lot of these other places. So when the minimum wage is kind of catching up to Chick-fil-A, I don't think the prices really changed too much on the product that they're selling. I mean, it's still more expensive, but McDonald's is outrageous for terrible quality food, whereas Chick-fil-A is like a couple dollars more for way better quality food, in my opinion. It's a pretty one-dimensional menu, but I will say for the lack of other types of protein on the menu, they really do a great job of diversifying that menu. I mean, there's biscuits, there's grilled, there's fried, there's all, salads and things like that. So I think, and everything on there is good. So Chick-fil-A for me just goes in that excellent category. It's another really divisive one, too. I think Chipotle's just kind of fallen off recently. It used to be like one of my favorite places. I used to eat there every day, and I was on this health kick, too. So, we would get just simple proteins, rice, beans, and I meant simple proteins like, chicken or steak or, double meat, whatever. Not that rice or, beans have that much protein in them or anything, but I'm just saying, like, that's how we broke it down. And then, we get vegetables on top or whatever, maybe a little cheese, but not anything else. And usually no cheese either. Get a bowl. It was, very low calorie, but just good energy. And the value was there too. Another place I got a lot of discounts at. But, man, recently, and this might be changing. I know the new CEO just came in. Who knows if this will date the place, but the episode. But they're trying to give better portions again. The quality of the food has just gone downhill. And I actually had a friend that worked there, and they told me at the time when they switched over from, hey, everything is just grilled fresh here too. Well, now we're getting, kind of pre-marinated, soaked meats or whatever in bags. So I don't know. I mean, they said it didn't really change the freshness of the product, but we all have kind of noticed the trend of the quality at Chipotle. I think it's expensive. It's just one of those things that, again, kind of is catching up to Chick-fil-A in expensiveness, but I'm going to put it pretty good. I think it's still good. It's pretty good. I mean, that's literally what it is. It's pretty good. They had this like brisket thing for, a few months, and it was by far and away the best thing I've had there. I loved it, and they took it away. I get it, but geez. Also, how many times you got to have a foodborne illness breakout in your restaurant? Like, I don't know. I always thought that was a little strange that, it just kept happening over and over again. But I don't know. We could get into a whole rabbit hole of that. Either way, I like Chipotle. I'll eat that. I just had it recently, actually, and it was fine. But, it's just not what it used to be. So I'm putting it pretty good. Anybody who's younger who goes there is probably like, oh, this place is great. And I don't blame them. I think the rice is actually slept on. I think the rice is really good there still. And the chips are fantastic. But, it sucks when those are becoming the stars of the show, and the meat, and the size of the portions and the expense of it have kind of taken over the story. So I don't know. Churches, it's pretty good. I don't have a problem with it. I like everything there. I think it's pretty well rounded. It's similar priced for similar restaurants. I love chicken. I love chicken with flavor, and I think there's not a whole lot you can say about it other than it's good. It's there. It's tasty. I think I could border it on pretty good because at the same time, it's not a super diverse menu of like foods. But I don't know. It's never let me down. And I think that's kind of something that has to go into it too. Cookout, I know nothing about this. I've never even heard of this. So if y'all want to enlighten me on that one too. Culver's, I've heard nothing but good things about, but I've never had it. So, feel free to throw that my way if you have any Any comments about that one as well? Del Taco is not for me. I've had it a couple of times now, and I've had a good experience with it. Not a great one. I've had a good experience. It was good for the time of day and the price. But more recently, I hated everything I got there, and it was way more expensive than a restaurant that had just closed before that had basically the same kind of menu. And I was just so disappointed with that. Now, maybe that weighed in really heavily, but I am not a Del Taco guy. I've had it enough times now where I think, like I say, I've never been overwhelmed by how great it was. It's always just been kind of not good. We come to our first like kind of sit downy restaurant besides maybe Boston Market. Boston Market's kind of like this, but Denny's. I'm gonna put it at not great. I'm not a huge Denny's guy. I've been there enough times. It's like got an old timey kind of feel, but it doesn't have the old timey kind of quality either. So like it looks old. It looks more of one of those nostalgia bait kind of restaurants, but it just doesn't have the same atmosphere or feel. It's just old stuff inside the restaurant. The menu, it's diverse. There's tons of stuff on there, but I think it suffers from what a lot of those big menu places have, where it's just too many options. It's too much stuff. It's like, do one thing or two things really, really well, have a couple of supporting characters there, and then, you could throw on some extras, whatever. But, like, they just have a whole big menu of stuff that's just not great, in my opinion. And I know some people do love Denny's. I was always more of an IHOP guy, but still not even really into IHOP either. So, I'm also, I got to be honest, I'm not a breakfast person. I know Denny's and IHOP and a few of these other places are like famous for, breakfasts and stuff like that. And they wanted to, add in some more like lunch and dinner options, but I'm just not a breakfast person. I don't, it's, anytime I've like hardcore trained or dieted or worked out for anything, it was all based on like eggs and things. And I'm just so egged out. Plus, everything else you can get for breakfast is so unhealthy that, it's just, I can't enjoy it if I'm not on a diet because I feel guilty about eating it. And then I can't enjoy it when I'm on a diet because it's, not great stuff for you. Not that any of this stuff is really great for you, but I'm much happier picking up a hamburger at a restaurant than, a stack of pancakes. At least there's something in the hamburger. At least there's some kind of nutritional value in the hamburger. A stack of pancakes is just going to, it's going to destroy you. But again, not that any of this stuff is really healthy, but I don't know. To me, there's just been no reason to ever go to a Denny's. And I mean, to be fair, it's been years since I've been there. So maybe it's better now. Maybe it's more interesting now, or they've toned something down, or taken something up a notch. But for me, it just was never the move. Domino's is interesting. So Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Papa John's. I'll probably do all three of those right now, because this is an ever-changing landscape. Domino's, Papa John's, and Pizza Hut are always fighting for first, second, and third. And it's like, you guys can see this on commercials and, their marketing ads, where it's just kind of like, hey, we know we've messed up. We've changed this, that, and this. We've added this in, and we're going to be better. And then it usually is better for about a year, maybe less. And it just starts falling down. The next one will do the same thing. I've seen all three of these guys do that at least 2 or 3 times now in the last, 10 years or so, where, my favorite one was Domino's, where they just came out and were like, yo, we know we've been messing up. Like, we have changed everything. And it was like, it was an effective commercial. And like I say, it was good for about a year. And then it was like, okay, well, we're back to being Domino's again after that. But yeah, so right now in the current like landscape of things, I think Papa John's is back up on top. I think this is the number one for me out of these three. I'm going to put it at pretty good. And that's a very like, pretty good, because I'm not really a fan of any of these anymore. I think Pizza Hut has a very diverse menu for what it is, and they offer like, the wings and stuff, and there's a lot of good deals you can get at Pizza Hut. So no matter how good or bad the quality has been at Pizza Hut, it's always been that kind of staple of, well, we can get this and we can get that. We can kind of get our value, whereas Domino's and Papa John's haven't really gotten to that level. I mean, Domino's is always bringing out some second-rate dessert kind of thing, and it's just like, oh, yeah, we're going to have a long brownie or whatever. And it's just like, okay, what is this? But yeah, Papa John's right now, I feel like the topping to bread ratio is kind of good. The sauces that are offered for like crust dipping is pretty important in my opinion. You got to lube that stuff up a little bit. But yeah, so right now I think this is kind of on top. Now, for a few years ago, this would have been well in the bottom. I mean, they were going through it. Pizza Hut, but not great. Like I say, I think Pizza Hut for me, it's just, there's just better options. I mean, I can go across the street to a place, if you guys know Marco's, that sells pizzas for basically the same price as Pizza Hut, but it's like really good quality pizza. It's almost like, a hole-in-the-wall pizza shop, even though it's kind of a chain. The quality is just so much better. So, you can get wings there, you can get subs, you can get all this. Like, the value and the quality is better than Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut offers really not much right now. I have no reason to go there. Now, they have a couple of deals where maybe you get it in a pinch, or you don't have that local pizza spot right in, front of your house, but if there's a Papa John's or Pizza Hut, I'm going to Papa John's. Now, Domino's has been just a major disappointment for me. It is definitely in the not for me category. I am majorly disappointed with Domino's. It has just been terrible quality, terrible portioning. We've been to a few different Domino's out here too, and you just tell nobody cares. It just feels very much like nobody cares. And, if you work there and you do care, like, I appreciate it. But, pizza's halfway cut, if that. Like I say, it looks terrible, tastes terrible. I am just not a fan. They're doing a lot of deals lately, which, I mean, go figure. They're doing deals because there's probably no reason to go there otherwise. And that's, pretty much what I feel about all three of these. I have no reason to go to any of these, but if I had to, it'd probably be Papa John's. Dairy Queen, it's such an anomaly because I think they have really good food here, but we think of Dairy Queen as milkshakes and, blizzards and whatever else. But I think it's pretty well-rounded. I mean, if I want to go to a place and get, a burger and a milkshake, or cheese curds and a blizzard, or ice cream and fries or whatever. Like, I mean, Dairy Queen's kind of lit. I mean, it's very good. It's not the best value, which is why I can't put it at excellent. I think it is pretty expensive for what you get. If you get like a regular or a small blizzard, maybe those are like human portions and I'm weird, but I mean, I need like the large or the extra large if I'm getting that thing. I mean, they have these long, stupid, tall cups that, I mean, I don't know how much they hold, but it just feels very, I don't know why. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's the best value for how much I'm paying for that kind of stuff. Now the food's good, like I say, but it's just not known for its food. I think it's decent though. I do think it's decent. I'm going to El Pollo Loco next. I'm gonna put that at excellent. I like it. I think it's really good, and I know there are people that don't like it. There are people that might disagree. For fast food, it's I mean, it's up there. Like, I can get something that tastes not homemade, of course, but the closest thing I can get to a homemade, probably, I don't know, maybe the chicken, the rice, like everything. Like I say, it doesn't taste homemade, but it's close enough where I can justify it being fast food and also like really good. I just enjoy, Mexican cuisine. I enjoy anything just spicy, flavorful, different from the norm, I guess. And in this landscape of foods, between freaking store pizza and burgers and fries, it's like, okay, this is a nice welcome break. Baja Fresh is good, but it doesn't have, like, El Pollo Loco feels like it's very flavorful. Baja Fresh definitely feels fresh. Like I say, the supporting cast is very good. It's a well-rounded place. But El Pollo Loco, the value, the different kinds of foods you can get there, and just how flavorful everything is. They have good deals too. Like if you can get some of their like flyers, and they're like, oh, here's 2 meals for buy one get one free. Like, dude, that's some good stuff right there. I mean, you cannot go wrong with that, especially like the grilled or rotisserie chicken or whatever. Like, it's just so flavorful, but also not too bad. Now they came out with this like, they came out with a couple of special menu items fairly recently that didn't really hit as hard because like birria, for instance, like it's gotta be. I mean, you gotta really cook that for it to be good. So going to El Pollo Loco for that is kind of setting yourself up for failure. So I cannot argue with that, but I will say it's great all around. I like it a lot. Firehouse subs, not great or pretty good. I'm gonna probably go not great. Now I think the food is good. I just don't think the value's there. I think I've never had a reason to go there. I'm not huge on sub places in general, just because like it's got to be really, really like the food is tasty, but it's also the value is just outrageous. It's just not there, and I hate eating like chips with my food. I'd rather have like fries or any other side than a bag of chips. I think that is just the laziest combination. You probably have to, it's marked up like what, 400% for a bag of chips there. I'm not a huge fan of really just that whole sub shop atmosphere anymore. I used to really like, getting a sandwich or something made for me because it was so easy. And Firehouse subs is good. I'm going to put it in pretty good, actually. I'm going to put it in pretty good. Not great kind of implies the food itself is not great or the value. I think all around it's good enough. I mean, like I say, the food's good. I just don't see the value in it. Like Cane's, for instance, the food's okay. And the value's terrible. So that's why it's down here. Like I like Cane's, I'll eat it, but it's just different. Five Guys, the king of overpriced. Now, I will say the amount of fries they give you, they just dump fries in the bag. That's good. I just wish the fries weren't soggy potatoes. I wish they were like actually fried, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a non-limp fry. Just if you get them Cajun, it's funny because they just take the seasoning and just dump them all over the fries, and then you just get this soggy, wet, limp fry with Cajun dust on it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like it, but it's just, I don't know. You could do better. I am gonna put this same as Cane's. I mean, just the value is just so not there. I love eating here. I would do it if I could, but I can't afford to eat there, and that alone, I just think it's just not right. Not great to me is either not great food or not great value. And for me, these are just horrible value. Five Guys is like the Cane's of the burger establishment. IHOP, I'm going to go pretty good. Kind of the same thing as Denny's, except they do a couple of things really well. Again, not a breakfast guy, but I've enjoyed enough times there and enough things there where I'm kind of picking between the two, and this is the one I give the edge to. They have some unique pancakes on there too, on their menu, that I really gravitate towards, and I would probably just give it like I said, I'm never in the mood for pancakes or waffles or anything sweet like that, but when I am, this is probably where I'd go for them. In-N-Out. Now, God, I grapple with this one all the time. If you can get a burger at In-N-Out, it's decent value, it's decent quality, it tastes good, but I don't think I've ever gone to an In-N-Out and actually been in and out. I'm going to put it at pretty good. Now, there's an argument for well-rounded, there's an argument for not great. I hate the fries. I absolutely hate the fries here. And if I liked the fries, I'd put it in well-rounded. The only thing that holds it back besides the fries is just how long I have to wait there. I mean, if you go through the drive-thru, you're there for half an hour easy before you even order. I mean, they're just wrapped around everywhere. They cause traffic jams. It's a nightmare. Unless you just get lucky and you're there. Now, if you go inside, which is fine, you know, you can go inside. Why not? It's usually not as long a wait. It's still, you have to wait still, but it's usually not as bad. And they have the peppers in there, which I like a lot. I think that that's cool. Love a good pepper bar. But yeah, so this is, for me, kind of a happy medium here. You know, the value's good. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, it's small food, but it's not the worst. It kind of keeps that traditional way of doing things, so I like that. You know, nice, honest, just fast food place, whatever. But it's just, to me, I don't know. I hate their fries. I just hate those fry scraps they give you. I know people love them, you know, the shoestring fries or the smaller fries or whatever, but I'm not a fan. I like a meatier fry. Jack in the Box. Now, this is another very interesting one for me because I think I like Jack in the Box a lot more. Now, the food, quality-wise, is not better than anything here. Maybe Burger King. But, you know, the food quality is not incredible. The variety, though, is anywhere I can go and I can get a taco, a burger, a chicken sandwich, nuggets, whatever, you know, just a whole variety of stuff. Like, I'm in. Now, the jalapeno poppers here, gimmick. They taste terrible. I don't like them at all. The fries here, the curly fries, I'm not a fan of a curly fry. I like the seasoning on them, but I hate that, like, you know, the springy ones, the nice springy ones are great, but then you got all these talons and claws and, like, you know, nail clipping freaking curly fries in there. I am not a fan of that at all. Those scraps, you know, they all have to be those springy guys, otherwise I don't want them. Their regular fries are fine, nothing special. I hardly ever get a meal here that, you know, is horrible, but I also hardly ever get one where I'm like, wow, that was really good. I can't wait to go back, you know? So I like that they experiment with their burgers too. I mean, this is where they had the sriracha burger, the jalapeno burger, the bacon double stack thing, whatever it is. And then they're just regular, like, cheeseburger, decent value, but good taste. The munchie meals, if they'll make them for you, are really, really good too. I like that weirdness. And they serve all of that all day. So they don't just, you know, cut you off. Like, you can get breakfast at any time of the day. You can get the dinner and lunch any time of day. That's another big thing about this. Because out here, especially, if you're working overnight and, you know, it's like, I don't know, 8 a.m. when you leave, you're not going to want breakfast. You're going to want dinner. And, you know, you're not going to be able to get, like, a chicken sandwich at McDonald's. They're serving breakfast. You know, you're going to want to go through the drive-thru and get a burger from here. So, you know, I think that's points too. I think it is very well-rounded, and it's always, I mean, just dead empty there. I hardly have ever had a line. I just, you know, like I say, I could make a case for this to be over this for most of the things, but for me, when it's just fast food, it's just so easy to grab this stuff and go, you know, just whatever. Like, I feel like having a taco and a burger. Okay. That's basically your only option is here. Jersey Mike's is another one where it's like, I'm going to put it at pretty good also for kind of the same reasons as I'm putting a lot of the stuff in pretty good. Like, it hits the mark on a few things. Obviously, it's probably the best tasting and quality ingredients you can get at a sub place, but it's also just overwhelmingly expensive. It's just crazy. It's the most expensive sub place for sure, and you're paying for quality. I get that, but you don't have a lot of options on what you can put on the subs, so that's kind of tough. If you had a full spread of options, maybe it would be more worth the price, in my opinion. More sides or things, but there's no sides there either. You get a bag of chips or a cookie, and you're on your way. So really, you're paying all of that for basically just a sandwich. And if you want the big size, it's like $20 essentially, you know. And it's just, I don't know. For me, it's just not worth it. But there are people that really enjoy this, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm sure people put that in excellent or well-rounded or whatever. But for the value, I just can't do it, you know. I think if I'm going to make anything close to the quality of Jersey Mike's, I could replicate it 5 times over at home with deli meat and ingredients from the store. You know, it doesn't take long to assemble a sandwich. I would say, now, here's a caveat to that. If you're talking about their hot sandwiches, okay, yes, the hot sandwiches can go up here for sure. Because there's no way, if I'm tired as hell, I'm coming home from work and I'm going to start, cooking a steak and cheese or something on my, stove and then clean up after that. But if you're talking about a turkey provolone, just come home. I get a, half pound of turkey at the deli, half pound of provolone cheese. It's the same thing, essentially. Absolutely no cost. I can make a few sandwiches with it. I can get bread at the bakery in there. So if I pre-prep my stuff, it kind of renders Jersey Mike's obsolete, or really any of these sub places. But I'm going to put it at pretty good for now. Bordering well-rounded, though. So I might throw it up here. Like, this is a top tier kind of pretty good. Jimmy John's, nah. It's the worst of every sub place. I mean, like, the food's good, but it's a little more expensive than sub places. There's not a lot of options. There's not it just kind of suffers from the plight of every sub place, except there's not a whole lot of redeeming qualities about it. I'm not a huge fan of really anything about this place and have not been for as long as it's existed. It's not something that's going to make you sick if you go eat there. It's not in the not great category or anything like that, but it's definitely a place where I just, if I had to take it or leave it, I'd leave it. Jollibee, now that's going to be a well-rounded. I think the value is actually pretty good there. There's a lot of different kinds of foods you can get there. And it's interesting combinations too. I think it's one of the only places that does like more of the Filipino style fast food. And, that's cool. I think that's cool. I like it. And anything like unique, again, if you can get more unique fast food, the quality here has to be okay to good, obviously, before, it's worth mentioning. But, the quality there is good. It's a good price, and it's just unique and interesting. So you got to give it a well-rounded, in my opinion. I think a lot of people love this place, and I get it. But yeah, I could, stick with that. I think the chicken's fine. I think the gravy's awesome. I think there's a lot of cool sides there. It's a good place. KFC now. I'll tell you what. I'm going to definitely take heat for this, but I am fine taking heat for this. KFC for me, I am into. I like it. I like the variety. I like the value. They have some good deals there. I like that if you get original recipe, it tastes wildly different from like extra crispy. I like that you can taste that there's different kinds of seasonings they'll put on it. And on top of everything, those fries there are the most seasoned, delicious fries I could get anywhere. I love the fries at KFC. I don't get it super often, but man, when I do, it is just, I'm always like, man, that was a good idea. That's the other thing. With a lot of fast food, you get it, you eat it, and you're like, during the eating process, you're thinking, okay, this isn't too bad. But as soon as you're coming to a close with a lot of this food, you're like, boy, shouldn't have done that. KFC is one of the only places where I'm eating it, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely the right call. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the bucket of chicken. I think, it was exciting when you were younger because you're like, wow, look at this. This is so much. But, at what I'm, where I'm at now, I'm feeding just myself. So I don't need a bucket of chicken. And if I look at a bucket of chicken, to me, it's just kind of like, all right, well, this is kind of like a special occasion kind of thing. It's like, hey, family's together, let's just grab some chicken real quick or something, not like a holiday family, gathering, but like, hey, we just happen to be in the same place at the same time. It's nice, but it's kind of gimmicky. Either way, I like it a lot. It's always been one of my favorite places ever since I was growing up to now. So just the longevity, the value, and the uniqueness of the menu, because other places do fried chicken, Popeyes too. But I like it. And I have not experienced Bojangles in some of these other places, so that's probably why too. I bet they would be higher up if I had them. But Especially in its current state. I like it. I think KFC is pretty solid up here and excellent. As you can see, it seemed to be a lot of chicken. I like chicken a lot, and it's funny because I never give chicken the credit it deserves. But Little Caesars, you know, I'm struggling here between not great and not for me. Not great. The only reason is just because the value is so much better than all these other places. However, lately it's kind of caught up, though. If it was still like the $5 pizzas or whatever, it would have to go up here. But, I mean, now you can get a frozen pizza from, the grocery store for about the same price. The only difference is you got to cook it, So this is convenience, obviously, but it's just not. They paint on a little sauce. You got low quality cheese and, what looks like a pepperoni on top of just a mountain of bread. So I don't know. I mean, like I say, the value might be there depending on where you live, but out here, I eat it fairly often. That's just what everybody kind of goes to. Everybody thinks like, oh yeah, Little Caesars is the cheap option, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I say, Marco's maybe $1 or $2 more than this now for a way better pizza or just frozen pizzas. I mean, honestly, at the way things cost, if I can get 4 pizzas for $10 at the grocery store, 4 frozen pizzas, why wouldn't I? I don't care how bready they are. I don't care how I have to cook it or whatever. Like, if I'm going to eat something terrible, it's going to be cheap. It's not going to be terrible and expensive. Long John Silver's I have not had. I'm not a fast food fish person anyway. Like, I don't eat fish fillets. I don't eat any of that, grilled fish stuff. I don't really like seafood just in general, so I can't imagine I'd like this. But who knows? I mean, if you guys love it, feel free to talk about it. That is not a problem. McDonald's, my God. Dude, it's got to go in the not great. Their fries, if they're warm, yeah, fries are great there. I like a quarter pounder with cheese. I like their spicy chicken sandwich. And I'm not talking about like the McSpicy. That thing's way overpriced now. I'm talking about like that. Or maybe it is the mix. I don't know. But they call everything the same thing. It's not the, the spicy McChicken. That's I think what the cheap one is that's actually expensive. But the one with like the sauce on it, the pepper sauce, that one I like a lot. Chicken nuggets are, decent here. I don't think they're as good as other places. I think it's kind of overhyped. I think the quality has never been great at McDonald's, but especially lately, the quality has been poor and the value has been non-existent. I think it's one of the most expensive fast food places now. For why? What are we paying for? I mean, I can go in there and order from an electronic kiosk, and then the dollar menu things from 5 to 6 years ago are now 3 times the price. So, I don't know. I have nothing great to say about it. I eat it every now and then. It's another place that serves breakfast sometimes, and then, they serve some items. So, like, the spicy chicken sandwich I'm talking about isn't even available after midnight when some of the other stuff is. And, like, to me, why? Why is that? Why wouldn't that be available after midnight? But like, the quarter pounder, I don't think is either. It's just weird to me. Like some places don't serve it. So I just don't know what they're thinking, and it's, the classic, oh, the ice cream doesn't work after a time and this and that. Like I get, if you're cleaning it, just say you're cleaning it. Like that's fine. But like, I don't know. For me personally, there's a lot more to dislike about McDonald's nowadays than there is to like about it. And, I'd much rather go to Jack in the Box. I know Jack in the Box isn't going to taste better than McDonald's, but neither of them are going to taste good to begin with. So like, at least I'm saving a little bit of money here and I get a variety any time of the day. Moe's Southwest Grill, I have heard nothing but good things about it, and I've enjoyed it every time I've been there. So it's not a place where people have been like, oh yeah, that place, it's great, or oh, it sucks. I've heard nothing but good things about this place from other people. And I've really enjoyed it too. So definitely put it up here. The only thing for me about this is it would be excellent if I could find them ever anywhere. But this is just one of those things where I don't even know where I would look for it. It's just not convenient, I mean, like there's, these guys are on like every corner for the most part, or at least where they are. This, if it was close to me, I would be like, sure, maybe it'd be an excellent. It's a little expensive. But, they do a good job of what they do. So I'm going to keep it here. Now, God, Noodles and Company. This place just doesn't exist where I am. But back where I used to live, they would be everywhere. And they were really, really good. I like this place a lot. The uniqueness, the variety. Now, there's not really any sides here, but it wasn't super expensive for what it was, which was great. Now, that might have changed since I've been there. It's been a little while. But where else are you going to find a fast food noodle place? They give you bowls of, yeah, it was just so good. And you could customize it too. It's just like, it was really, really amazing. I liked the penne stuff there. I liked everything there. There was not a thing I didn't like on that menu. And it always tasted really, really fresh, really good. Don't even know if it was, but I was just always delighted to eat it. It was a treat. It was a pleasure to go there. And if I ever see any of these anywhere I'm traveling or around, I'm going there for sure. Panda Express, not a fan of myself personally, but I am going to put it in the pretty good category because I don't think there's a lot that really separates good and bad Chinese food. I think a lot of times it's not something for me most of the time. I crave it every now and then, but a lot of times it's just sweet. Just a lot of sweet sauce on really low quality types of meat. Now, obviously, higher end Chinese places are better, but what separates like a sit down Chinese restaurant and Panda Express is not a ton, in my opinion. And it might just be because I'm not a huge fan of the food, but people do love it. People hate it. I've never been a huge fan. I do think that the variety and the uniqueness, as well as the speed, it's almost like you're at a food court at a mall, but you can just find this anywhere. And I think that's kind of where it originated from anyway. But yeah, it's good. There's good stuff there. Definitely some good stuff there. If I'm craving it, it's great, but I hardly ever am. I am going to be fair and put it at pretty good though, because I do think that like it is pretty good. Like I say, the value's there, the speed, the ease, and where else are you going to find food? If I wanted to go to like a local Chinese restaurant and grab something takeout, it'd be like 30 minutes or so. I'm in and out of this place easy, no problem, So I think I'm just going to keep it right here. Panera, boy, this is a tough one for me too. I like Panera. And I think it's an incredible concept as like a bakery that makes food too. I do think there's a lot of things that annoy me about Panera. I cannot get like a regular drink at most locations, like a soft drink. It's always, some different thing. They're not bad, but I just if I want a Diet Coke, I want a Diet Coke. You know what I mean? If I want a Diet Pepsi, I want a Diet Pepsi. So that's always kind of bothered me a little bit, at least at the locations I've been to. I want to put it at well-rounded. I am going to put it at well-rounded. I think if you're into that kind of food, it's tasty. It's definitely always tasty. They have a lot of variety too. The bread bowls, the pasta, the freaking sandwiches, the bakery's great. The breakfast is great. It's just expensive. I think it would go in excellent if it wasn't so expensive. And I get it. You're baking your bread for free. However, for free. You're baking your bread there on site. I just think that what I mean is you're baking it for free. A lot of these other places are trucking bread in or the ingredients to make the bread, whereas they're making it on site. Some of the sandwich places probably bake their own bread, but they might just get them. I don't know. I used to work at a place where we would bake our own bread and it was good, but it was also like frozen dough batches that we would buy from a distributor that was like a bakery. They would make pre-frozen, dough that you would let thaw and rise, and then you would bake it. So it was like fresh baked bread, but we didn't make it on site. Now they, I believe, make it on site, or at least company wide, so that even if they do have to truck it in, it shouldn't cost as much as like some of the places that bring in third-party frozen breads from bakeries and things. So I don't know. I'm not sure how it works, but I don't know why it's so expensive. It might just be because of the novelty of the restaurant. But that's the only thing keeping it from being excellent is just how much it costs every time I go there for anything. I'm not sure what PDQ is. Never even heard of that. Like these I've heard of. I've never heard of this. Well, I've never heard of Cookout either, but I've never heard of that at all. Penn Station, East Coast Subs. I probably could have gone there or have passed by there at one point, but I've never actually eaten there, so I can't tell you. Maybe it's awesome. Maybe it's a local thing. I have no idea, but I've never heard of it. Popeyes. I'm going to put that at well-rounded as well. The only thing keeping Popeyes from being excellent is the quality to me lately has been not there. Something I've noticed about Popeyes is back in the day, I don't know if I have just been desensitized to this or not, but there's spicy chicken sandwiches before. Spicy chicken, they had spice and Cajun seasoning and stuff on their fries. And it was a very flavorful, wonderful experience. Now, if I get spicy chicken strips or spicy chicken or the sandwich or anything, I mean, I can taste it, but it's not spicy. The Cajun fries, they're good, but Popeyes is a very unique place. I'm not going to hold this against the restaurant itself because the food at its best is awesome. But that's got to come from a great location. Because there are some locations you'll go to and they're just horrible. I mean, the fries taste greasy and terrible. The chicken's not flavorful. I like the sauces and the sides and things. And, it's hard to screw that up, of course. But, you really got to have a good location. I've always loved Popeyes. I have a lot of good memories tied to Popeyes as well. I'm a fan. I do think KFC does it a little better, though. So for me, it's going over that. And I think both of them have slightly, when they're on their game, slightly better than Church's. I think Church's overall, though, you'll have a solid experience every time you go to Church's versus like Popeyes. It's so hit or miss. I mean, if I go to the same location even, it's either like, oh, this is really good today or, oh, it's terrible today. And I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know what the difference in quality is, but that's always been my experience there. Portillo's, put it not great. I think the food itself is good. I just don't think the value or, really, it's sub place. I'm just not really into sub places. And, this for me has never been on my list. It's good. I've always enjoyed it, but I think Potbelly, which is next, just does it a little better. So I'm going to have to put Potbelly up here in the pretty good for same reasons. I don't think the value is really there at either one of these places, but a little more variety here. I don't know. I think that's kind of where I'm at on these guys. Not that they're exactly the same, of course, but I'm just not really super into either of them, to be fair. Qdoba. Now, Qdoba is interesting because I used to not like this place and only like Chipotle, but now I think it's kind of taken a little switcheroo there, and I'm going to put it just above Chipotle here because for me, they're kind of neck and neck in the history of their existences. I didn't like Qdoba before because it seemed like there was, kind of that air of, oh, well, this is like Chipotle, but we just have different stuff here that you can add in, and I didn't like the different stuff that you could add in here. I also usually got food that was served wrong, which is weird. I mean, one time I went in there and this is just purely coincidental, I guess, or like circumstantial, but I went in there and I asked for a quesadilla, and they asked if I wanted pico, and I said no, I'll just take it on the side, and they put it in there anyway. Maybe they thought I said take it inside. I don't know, but I said no, I don't want it. I'll have it on the side. And that to me was just kind of weird because Chipotle, I never had really a bad experience there ever. And I ate there a lot. Qdoba, I've had a couple of not bad experiences. I wasn't going to complain about it. I ate it. I just didn't want it, but I had no problem eating it. But I just think that the attention to detail wasn't there at first in everything they did. Now I think it's the exact opposite. I think Chipotle is kind of like, yeah, we'll just put out a tray of dog food and you can, get a couple of nuggets of steak or whatever. And Qdoba's, still like, hey, no, we're doing it the right way. So I think this place is kind of overtaken Chipotle a little bit. Now, unfortunately, it's not as popular among the whole, country. So you can't find these as much as you can find Chipotle's, and Chipotle's are franchised, and their stock's all high and everything. So unfortunately, Chipotle has kind of taken a lot of the spotlight from Qdoba, but Qdoba's pretty good. Quiznos, I don't know where these even exist anymore. But Sub Place again, I'm putting it in not great. I am not a huge fan of Quiznos. I'm actually gonna put this one way up high because I think this is kind of on the border of pretty good. I'm just, like I say, a take it or leave it kind of person. But with Quiznos, I'm usually leaving it. I don't care for Quiznos very much. Their whole gimmick was, everything's toasted, which fine, but Subway was the better way to eat sandwiches between Quiznos and Subway. Now Subway's kind of fallen off too. Again, well, not kind of, it did fall off in a big way, and they deserve to. But Quiznos originally fell off, and everybody kind of forgets that. Like, Quiznos was the original. Like, hey, we actually don't have the value that we used to. Now Quiznos had some good times, good subs. The value was okay, but it was the first one to really kind of buck the trend of value for sandwiches, and they raised their prices a little sooner than any of the other ones did, which again, why there's not as many locations as there used to be. That, and it's not, I don't think it's as franchisable as Subway. Like Subway, they wanted to push as many locations as possible. I mean, they did everything you don't want to do if you're a business. It's just crazy. Like, there were no hours ever. The franchisees had to work there essentially in order to make any kind of a profit at their location. So anybody who franchised one of these out, it was like the whole family just came in and worked, an 18-hour day in order to make the money for the restaurants, and then Subway just pushed as many locations as possible. So, rent was probably insane. I don't know. It just seemed like kind of not the way to do it. And now, of course, they're kind of paying for it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge Quiznos guy, and honestly not a huge Subway guy anymore. I used to love Subway. It used to be cheap and easy. Now it is no longer cheap. It's kind of easy, but same deal, like, as any of the other sub places. It's just, there's no sides. There's no variety. Like, I could easily make this at home for a lot less. It's just, they haven't raised their prices as much as some of these other places have. So Subway kind of can survive on that, but at the same time, it's, their marketing campaign too. When they just hired every pro athlete they could find in like a 6-year window. I mean, they had like a star athlete in every football division. They had baseball players. They had former athletes. They still do this where they just, you're making a sandwich. I don't care. I don't care if RG3 or, freaking Justin, whoever is what is his name? Justin Tuck or whoever was telling me to eat a sub. Like, if I want a sandwich, I'll get a sandwich. I don't need these millions of dollars of contracted athletes to tell me to. It's just such a waste of money. How much you pay your employees or put better food out there? I don't know. To me, that just kind of seems like a no-brainer. I get ads are important, but it's like, dude, I mean, they were everywhere, all over the place forever. And it just never made sense to me then, and it doesn't make sense to me now. And like I say, they're kind of paying for it. Roy Rogers, if you could find one, that is a treat. That's the only reason it's not going in excellent. I don't even know where you can find this anymore. They started coming back on the East Coast, but my God. I have had some good food, good memories. Everything there is good. Everything there is unique. Their roast beef sandwich is perfect. Their mustard and barbecue sauce for the fries or whatever, just perfect. Everything there was so good, and I enjoyed every second of eating there. I mean, it is some great memories. I like I said, I'd put it in excellent if I could find it, but they don't even exist out here, so it's just kind of, I'll put it in excellent anyway. Like, because if I visit home, I'm going here, and it's going to be a great experience for sure. If it's not, I'll move it down later on. I'll come back and amend that. But this place, it's pretty awesome. I am big into Roy Rogers. I loved it, and it wasn't like that much more expensive than anything else either. I mean, it was maybe food was like 50 cents to $1 more than McDonald's for a comparable meal, but like, I was watching the meat get sliced in the back. I was watching food be prepared in front of my face. They weren't opening trays and stuff. So Very good. There's a reason they started coming back versus going out of business, because they did have a financial issue for a while, and then they came back. Sbarro, and what can you say about this? I'm gonna put it at pretty good, but like the tail end of pretty good. I mean, it's a slice of pizza at mostly a food court. You know, the value is kind of there. I don't know how it is today, but it used to be kind of there. You get a big slice. I think it's the only place on here with the novelty of like a slice of pizza as opposed to having to get a whole pizza. But I think, a whole pizza would have probably in the long run cost you less than a simple slice. Sides were good there, I've enjoyed it. I think it's pretty good, but like I say, bordering on not great, because really there's not a whole lot of times where I'd be like, let me get this. I'm not super into it. Schlotsky's, I've heard of it. I don't know what it is really. Bakery Cafe. Yeah, I don't know. It might be awesome. Shake Shack. Now, oh God, this is another one where, for me personally, I'm going to put it just on the border of not great and pretty good. Kind of the opposite reason of this. Like I was just saying, like, I see why people like it. I see why people want to go there. I think there's different options and better options. If you're in like an outlet mall or something and there's a Shake Shack there, it's like an oasis. But outside of that, I have no reason to ever go there. That is just not my move. Sheets, I'm going to put that at well-rounded, usually built into gas stations. So, road trip staple, working staple. Like I would go on trips to job sites and we'd stop off at Sheets and get, a sandwich or breakfast or whatever. What it has going for it is that there are other things to get in the place. So it's not a sandwich shop where it's just sandwiches and chips. Like there's other things there too. So that's awesome. You can get, a coffee there or something like that. You can fill your car up while you're on your way to get food. I mean, it's just so convenient. I mean, it is the ultimate in fast food and convenience. And so I think Sheets, to me, if you have been on a road trip around the East Coast, maybe down south, you know what I'm talking about. Sheets is awesome. And I know there's a big discussion between Sheets or Wawa. I'm definitely a Wawa guy, and I'm going to put that up at the top of well-rounded. Not excellent, because again, it is sandwiches. I'm not it's something I could easily make at home, pack and bring, but the convenience of it versus, the price, the fact that it's tied to hey, it's an experience, it's an event, it's a little slice of heaven, it's a little getaway while you're on, a job site or something. Like this is an event. If you guys know what I'm talking about, whoever's been to either of these places when they're, driving to do some cabling or some HVAC or something like that, working on a construction site, it's like, this is an oasis, because it's not too heavy either. Like if I went and I got a couple of burgers from McDonald's, it would not feel the same the rest of the day as just getting a sub from Wawa or something, coffee, whatever. So yeah, I think these guys, for me, definitely up here in the well-rounded, very good stuff. Bordering excellent, honestly, if there was really any other reason for me to, and it's kind of the same thing with Roy Rogers. I just don't have them out here. But even if I did, I don't know if I'd go there as often anymore since I work at home basically all the time now, so I don't know. What is this? Skyline something? I don't know what that is either, so we're going to put that down there. Sonic, put it at pretty good. These are in no particular order here, but I mean, honestly, the pretty good's kind of just whatever. So it's just, they're kind of there. Sonic it's a variety of food. As far as the food goes, I've had great experiences, not great experiences. I think Southern Sonics just hit way different than Sonics around the rest of the U.S. I don't know why that is, but I've had way better experiences at all the Southern locations than I have anywhere else. The drinks are great, though. I think the drinks and the combinations of drinks, fantastic. So, if you're going on drinks alone, they're probably a well-rounded, higher up tier. But with the food, depending on what's on the menu, I know they like to take stuff and mess around with their menu a lot. Yeah, I like it. It's not bad, but I have not been there too often, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at there. Steak and Shake is kind of like Shake Shack as well, but you know, even less excited to go there when I see it. I don't mind Steak and Shake. There's one actually at this casino um, I've been to a couple of times, and like I've eaten there, but it's just never anything to write home about. You know, these two, like I say, I think they're a little overpriced for what you get. You know, it's just burgers and fries, you know, trying to give you, again, a classic kind of diner feel, but doesn't really fully deliver on it, in my opinion. I do like the shakes, but at the same time, I think I get a shake in other places, you know, that is better. So I know there's people that love Steak and Shake, and that's fine. Again, this is all just my kind of ranking, my opinion on it. I'm just, you know, I never really go there, and I think that just kind of shows, you know. Swenson's, I have not heard of it, so I'm going to put that down there. Taco Bell is just, I mean, I think it just depends on what state of mind you're in. It could be anywhere from, you know, excellent to not for me. I value-wise, I have to, oh, man, you know, I'm going to put it at pretty good. And this is another one that, you know, just one thing changes and it's up here, down here. You know, value-wise, this is probably the cheapest food you can get. And whether it's good or not, if you can get, you know, 3 tacos for a couple of dollars and, you know, a couple of burritos for nearly the same price as you get them at your grocery store, like, yo, I'm all in. It suffers from a large menu of just all the same ingredients. And I've said this before in a couple of times on, you know, the other channels or whatever, but like Taco Bell, there's like 5 ingredients and you change them up to just call it different things. I know people have been making like, you know, comedy sketches and reels and TikToks about this recently too, which is so funny because I literally talked about this years ago. But literally, I mean, everybody, I don't think it's hard to see though, but like really, when they roll out a new product, it's typically the same stuff, just rolled a different way or wrapped a different way, or, you know, maybe there's 2 of them or whatever, you know. So for me, it's kind of overinflated nothingness, but what they do well. I like the nacho fries a lot. When they took those away, I was mad. The potatoes are good there. You know, like the sides are kind of the star of the show here. And it's a great place to just get a lot of food for not a ton of money. So respect for that. But I definitely could see it being awful. I could see it being more well-rounded. I could see it being better. Yeah, for me, I like it. I'm fine with it. This is Taco Cabana, I think is what that says. I've never heard of that either. Torchy's Tacos, now, I don't have a lot of experience with this one. I don't know it very well. So I'm going to actually put it down here. I maybe have had it once, but I don't remember it very well. So I'm just not going to speak on it because I mean, what if, you know, I don't even remember it. So, you know, what does that mean? Waffle House, jeez, I don't know. Waffle House is another one of these steak and shake kind of places where, you know, I'm not a breakfast guy. I know they serve a lot more than breakfast. It's one of those diner things. What I think is really cool about Waffle House is actually they have an emergency protocol for any situation. And it's one of the only places where they have a way to open in any kind of conditions. And they have like the craziest conditions on there. Whether they really will or it's more of a novelty thing, I don't know. But they have an emergency guide for literally everything. It was very interesting to see what they had procedures for, you know. And, you know, just kind of the same stuff as this. Like, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you find a Waffle House, you're like, damn, yeah, I'm going to eat there. It's open. It's going to be food, whatever. Kind of has that diner feel also. But it has more of a diner feel than any of these other places, I think. Just the counter, where they grill the food, all that stuff. But I'm never seeking a Waffle House out. And I think that's kind of what it is, though, therefore. I think it's, hey, everything else is closed or far away, and we're here for you, We're always here for you. So good on Waffle House for that, but I don't think it's fantastic. I don't think I'm ever going there for anything. But yeah, we're just going to keep it right there. Wendy's, we'll put that up here at pretty good. Valley's getting a little out of hand. It's getting a little expensive for what it is. Now, I think it does the same thing, but more than McDonald's. It has an expanded menu. It has better quality stuff, in my opinion, than McDonald's. But it's also getting kind of expensive. So that's keeping it from being way up here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that quality, but it is what it is. And, Wendy's, like I say, I'm not a fan of the quality for the price. I think that's the only thing that keeps Jack in the Box ahead of it, because they both have very diverse, unique, like full menus. But Wendy's used to be just amazing. Like the pretzel pub burgers were awesome. They still have those, and the chicken sandwiches, the salads were good. They were the first to really do good salads at fast food, in my opinion. I know everybody, like McDonald's had their stupid little, this was like 20 years ago. You'd have a container with a few leaves of lettuce in there, and then they give you a packet of dressing. Wendy's, like, they had chicken and bacon and, all kinds of stuff. They had the Southwest salad, a taco salad. They had like an Asian kind of salad with like mandarin oranges. I mean, there was like some really good stuff they had there. They might still have that, but, it was just, when they make food, they make it well. When they put out a new menu item, it's a new menu item. I'm just disappointed with the lack of options here and the price, and the quality is just not that much worse, to be completely honest. I mean, if we're ranking Jack in the Box, Wendy's, McDonald's, Burger King, they all taste fairly similar. I mean, there's obviously some quality differences. Each one kind of does something a little better, but I think overall, the value, I'll put it up here, though, because I do think it's, fighting for the top spot here. Yeah, if I'm going to rearrange some of these, maybe something like that. I don't know. These are both very expensive for the quality. This quality is not as good as this. This value is better than both of these, but the quality, In-N-Out's got to be up here too, actually. I'm putting In-N-Out above all of them. And that's funny, because I'm not really a huge fan of In-N-Out, but if I get it, I'm going. If I get it, I'm going to like this one more than I like any of this stuff, I think. A Whataburger, I've actually never had. I hear great things about it. I hear it's just nonstop. People are really in love with Whataburger, but I just haven't had it yet. I will at some point. White Castle is weird. I'm going to put it in the not for me category, because I would never go to a White Castle ever. However, you get frozen White Castle burgers at the store. Now we're talking. They're not great, but I mean, pop a couple of those in the microwave for a couple of minutes. Like, you get a little, a bunch of sliders, put some jalapeno ketchup on them. That's fine with me. So the White Castle, the standalone store, not a huge fan of, but I get them frozen at the store all the time, and I'm good. Wiener Schnitzel, I'm actually going to put that at well-rounded. I think it's unique, it's different, it's interesting, it's pretty good. There's not a whole lot of hot doggy kind of options here, and they do stuff very cheap as well. So, like, I think the quality is good. I think the food's always tasted pretty good. It's unique, and it's just, I like it. I enjoy it. I think it's all there. It's not excellent because I'm never really seeking it out, but it's a fun little surprise every now and then. Get a little chili dog or something like that. Like, you're paying a couple of dollars for, I mean, it's not good for you, of course. None of the stuff really is, but it tastes pretty damn good, So I'm a fan. I'm not sure what this is. Wings something. I don't know. I can't even tell. I've never heard of it, though, as you can tell. So we're going to keep that one down in the never had section. And then, let's see, Wingstop. Well, you know how I feel about Wingstop. It is by far and away one of my favorite. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not like fast food. But, they serve chicken. I love the flavors. I've always loved Wingstop. I like their fries a lot. I like getting the fries extra seasoned and extra like cook time on them. Makes it really good. They definitely serve you some scraps with their fries. You know, you'll get like a bunch of really long potatoes and then just trash, which, you know, I'm not a huge fan of that, but I'll let it slide because the actual fries they serve, not just the, you know, the trash, is really, really good. And then on top of that, like I say, the wings, I think the value is just really good. There's this bundle in this current time, and it's been like this for about a year now, where you can get like 20 boneless wings and a large fry for about $20. Now, at other wing places, $20 gets you maybe half of that. So, I mean, I'm a huge fan of that. And then if you add on 5 wings, just 5 traditional wings, as opposed to getting a whole other meal with 5 wings, it's like $5 to $6 or something like that. And they're like good sized wings. They're cooked really well. I like getting the lemon pepper regular. See, again, I like using chicken as a tool to, you know, just eat sauces and stuff like that. You know, get you a little ranch or blue cheese or whatever. You can dip your fries, you can dip your wings. But the wings, if they're well sauced, the hot, the barbecue, Hawaiian, whatever they are, all are really good there. And it doesn't matter. You know, a chicken with sauce is good. But man, something about those lemon pepper traditional wings, they're just so flavorful and so good. Yeah, I don't know. I love Wingstop. It's my favorite wing place for sure. So it's definitely up here. Look at that. Again, most of this stuff is chicken. You got some noodles here. You know, you got some roast beef and, you know, burgers and stuff. But like, I guess I like chicken more than I thought I did. I don't know. Or maybe, you know what? I bet what it is too is I like a Red Robin burger. I'm surprised that's not on here, but I guess they consider it more of just a restaurant-y kind of thing. But that's kind of weird because I feel like, you know, IHOP and Denny's kind of have the same waiting time. So I don't know how they're thinking about this, but like, that's my place. If I'm going to get a burger, I'm going to Red Robin for that. They're unique. They're tasty. The endless steak fries or whatever. I'm into it. Zaxby's I've also never had. So, you know, another thing I definitely want to try. I know Zaxby's is good. I've heard nothing but great things. So it looks like I got a few things I need to check out down here. But for the most part, I'm happy with this list. You know, I think, as far as these, I don't know, doing this list, I don't think these are, you know, I'm doing this all off the top of my head. I'm doing this with y'all right now. I'm not sure this is a great representation of what what I wanted to get across. But just in case you wanted a refresher, excellence, like they do something really well, or just everything is good there, like the value, the variety. They have something I love there. They're tied to a good memory, like just something I really enjoy about these places. And, you know, all these kind of fire on all cylinders. Well-rounders, they do everything pretty well, pretty good. You know, I enjoy this food. It's, you know, probably tied to memories. And they do something really, really well. But for the most part, you know, the variety is there, whatever. Uniqueness to their menu. But this is kind of what I'm looking at here. Pretty good is like, okay, I like it. I don't think I dislike any of the food on here. You know, Taco Bell, depending on what night you catch me on, could go either way. Papa John's I'll probably not ever have, but if I had to have it, this is, in my opinion, the better pizza place out of any of these other pizza places. But yeah, pretty good is like, you know, it's not bad. I'll take it. Not great is like, it sounds worse than it is, but this is probably more like, yeah, it's okay. You know, this is all right. Like, all this stuff is all right. It's not great, but it's good. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, it's kind of like a negative phrase, but it means better than, like, bad. You know what I mean? So, if I got any of this stuff, I wouldn't be upset, but I probably won't seek any of this stuff out. Maybe I'll seek out Cane's, you know, maybe every now and then I'll have a craving for that. But all this other stuff, I could take it or leave it. I'm always making subs at home for the most part. Even Jersey Mike's up here, I'm never getting that stuff anymore. You know, it's all too expensive now. Everything's too expensive. Not for me, you know, to be completely honest, there's not a lot of fast food I don't like. I mean, I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to what I eat. You know, I I'm just happy to have food in my life. You know, I'm not super picky. Like if I got to eat something, I'm blessed to just have a meal. You know, but this stuff, I think if I was like hungry, I wouldn't eat this. You know what I mean? Unless the White Castle's from the grocery store, then the value's there, and the you can spice it up a little at home. But other than that, I don't think I'm really a huge fan of any of these places right now. And then this is all I got to try. I got to check that stuff out. But yeah, that was our fast food list. I did pretty long one. I didn't realize how long that would be. But if y'all want to comment on what I got right, what I got wrong, what you love, any memories tied to these, vacation places you went where you tried this for the first time, dude, hey, go ahead. And like I said, there's no right or wrong answers ever. You guys literally, whatever you like, you like. Nobody can take that away from you. It's like anything, music, movies, TV shows, you just like what you like. But yeah, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate y'all more than you know. And y'all have a good one.